Today we're taking a look at the Duplo water timer from Claber. This is Claber's dual outlet water timer designed for multiple irrigation systems from a single timer. Inside of the box you'll find the timer itself along with the front cover, which will just protect the panel here, and the manual. It's always worth having a read through the manual just to make sure you're familiar with the system, but we'll cover most of the basics here now. On the bottom, it's got two outlets. As standard, comes with standard hose connectors, so you can use quick connectors on this. However, they can be removed to reveal a male thread. You need to be a little bit careful with this because on the Duplo, the male thread is actually 1/2 inch, whereas the standard is usually 3/4 inch. This means you may need to use a reducing bush to connect objects like pressure reducers or nut and tail fittings. To fit the front cover to your Duplo timer, first you want to just line it up. I like to start with the cover closed. I find this makes it a little bit easier. And then you just apply pressure at the back until it clicks into place. Now that it's clicked into place, you can see I can easily open and close the timer and it will stay in place. Next, you'll want to fit the battery. To do this, you just want to locate the two circular holes on either side, pop your fingers in and squeeze, and then pull apart. Now there will be two wires joining these two sections. I'd usually advise just popping them out for now so you can fully disconnect. Just move that out the way for the moment. Inside of the front cover here, you'll see we're now left with two connections. First one we have is the 9-volt battery connector. We'll just go ahead and fit that battery now. Just simply line it up, pop the battery on, and then just at the bottom here there's a small holder which we can clip the battery into just to make sure it stays secure and out the way. Just under the battery connector we have the rain sensor socket. This is worth a mention because it comes with a jumper cable pre-installed. This jumper must remain present for the timer to work correctly. It should only ever be removed if you are actually going to fit a rain sensor straight into that socket. If you do that, we always advise that you remove the jumper cable, store it somewhere where you can find it for later, just for troubleshooting purposes, or if you decide the rain sensor is not for you. Once you're happy your battery is fitted, you can take your section here and you just want to re-plug in these two wires, just making note of which one you're connecting. So this is valve A, we'll slot that in, and then valve B. Once they're slotted in, push the timer back together until it clicks into place, and your timer is ready to program. So next up, we're going to program our timer so that it will run on an automatic schedule. The Claber timer uses a 3-button system. We have back, forward, and enter. Now to program this, what we're going to want to do is just first hit the enter button, and you should see a little OK symbol appear on the bottom right of the screen. Anytime that OK is present, that means we're in editing mode, and the arrows are now going to either add time or take time away. I'm just going to set the current time, which is the first screen that we're on here. And as an example, I'm just going to use 9 AM. Now to move the timer on more quickly, you can hold the forward button. So I'm just going to hold that. I've gone a little bit too far there, so I'm just going to use the back button to wind that back a few minutes. There we are. So now I've got 9 AM on the screen there. Once I'm happy, all I need to do, press the enter key again. Next screen it's taken to me is asking me for the day. Now there's a couple of different ways you can approach this. Either you can view day 1 as Monday or Sunday, depending on your preference, or you can view day 1 as the day you're programming the timer. Doesn't really matter. This only comes into play a little bit further down the line when we can exclude watering days. I'm just going to assume Monday is day 1. Today is a Thursday, so I'm just going to use the arrow to find day 4, and I'm going to confirm it with the middle button. So there we have the time set. You'll see on the screen 9 o'clock on day 4. So when using this timer, you'll notice at the very top, we have a small little chart here. The chart refers to what we're seeing on the screen and what number corresponds with the valve that we're opening. This is usually where people trip up. So for an example, valve A is this left-hand outlet. That is numbered both 1, 3 and 5. And that refers to the 3 watering times per 24-hour period that are available. Valve B on the right side is number 2, 4 and 6. So whenever on these next screens we see a number on the left-hand side, we can look up at that chart, compare the number that we're seeing, and it will tell us which valve we are either opening or closing. So 1 refers to valve A, which is the left-hand side, and I'm just going to give that an opening time of, say, 9:30. There we are, so I'm just scrolling through using the forward arrow. There's our 9:30, and I'm going to confirm that with the middle button. If I use the forward arrow now, we're seeing the 1 remain on the left-hand side, which tells me this is still valve A, and it's asking me for a close time. So again, I'm going to hit the middle button, move the time on, and I'm just going to say 9:45, and I'm going to confirm with the middle button. As I move on again now with the forward arrow, on the left-hand side, it's showing me a number 2. So as I consult the chart, I can see number 2 means valve B. So we're now programming an opening time for valve B. I'll just do this and I'll say 10 o'clock as an example. So using the arrow, confirming with the middle key. Using the forward arrow, still showing me a 2 on the side here. So still valve B, and we need a closed time. So I'm going to select 10:30 by pressing the middle button, moving the timer on, and confirming with the enter key. For the rest of the run times, we can just continue to do the same thing. So as I move forward, we now see a 3. And again, consulting my chart, 3 means we're back to the A line. And as I move on, 4 means right line or B line. So you can follow that through on the chart, always double checking to make sure if you're opening and closing either the left valve or the right valve, and you can do that up to 3 times each. A common question we get asked with the Duplo is, do I need to use both valves? This may be prevalent if you're going to add to a system later, but at the moment only want to use one of the valves. You can do this, and to do it, you have to program in both valves and then remove the ones that you don't want. So in this example, I've programmed line A to come on, then I've programmed line B to come on, and then once again, line A to come on. Line B is going to be the one that I want to remove. So on my screen, I'm just going to navigate until I find, in this case, 2 closed. And I'm reading that off the chart. Once I've found that, I'm going to press the enter key as if I was amending the time. And then I'm going to actually press the 2 arrows together. When you do that, you should see that 2 closed then becomes 0, 0, 0, 0. And at the top of the screen, the little highlighted 2 has disappeared. That means I've completely turned off line B, and now I just have 2 run times for line A. If I wanted to add a 3rd run time for line A, I would have to program in line B as well and remove it again. So when you come to the end of the season, you're going to want to winterize this unit to make sure it's ready for the following year. To do this, Claber advised that you completely remove this from the garden tap, pop it open and remove the battery. I like to advise to give it a really good shake just to make sure any water that's still in the timer comes out, and then you want to store it indoors. Now when I say store it indoors, I usually advise somewhere heated like in the house, If you're going to store it in a shed or a garage, you really want to give that a good shake to make sure there's no water in it. Because in our experience, sheds and garages still get very cold, and we have had instances of the timer cracking just because it's dropped below freezing. So just to clarify, remove from the tap, remove the battery, give it a good shake out, and if you can, store it indoors where it won't drop below zero. If you're interested in the Claber Duplo or the compatible rain sensor that goes with it, you can find both on easygardenirrigation.co.uk, or if you have any follow-up questions, please feel free to email our team or comment on this video, and we'll be happy to help.